Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. Scuba diving in the Turks and Caicos. Dive site, Shark Hotel. The Shark Hotel dive site is located off the Providenciales northwest point. This is a night dive. This is dive number 3 on this dive site and dive number 5 for the day. It's great having a couple dives on the site before the night dive. That way you have your orientation and know what to expect on the dive site. I really enjoy night dives, but I don't often do them. I find that 5 dives a day can be a little bit much for me, mostly for my ears, but I really do enjoy them, so occasionally I will do 1 or 2 in a week. This dive started at just about 7:45 and lasted about 52 minutes. My computer recorded a maximum depth of 56 feet and an average depth of 38 feet. The water was a comfortable 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Here we're looking at a large channel crab that I think had enough of my camera. These large jacks were opportunistic hunters, and they were using the light from my torches to hunt. As the light would temporarily stun their prey, you could hear them crunching it. Do you see the octopus? They hide really well. They are quite the masters of disguise. It's my understanding that they are extremely intelligent. I find them fascinating, and I always love seeing the octopus. This one was tucked in pretty good, and as I moved closer, he just dug inside of this mound of coral and rock. I looked on the other side, but all I could see is this arm and tentacles. From this side, it looks much larger. I can see the eye there, but I decided to leave it alone. I didn't want to be photographed or videoed. Here's another large channel crab. Normally, channel crabs and octopus and lobsters and things like that are really nocturnal in nature are tucked in during the day, and you might see a part of one of them in their little hole, but at night they come out and walk around on the reef. The sea urchins walk around. You'll often see eels free swimming on the reef, so it's really a different environment at night. If you remember from the first 2 dive videos at this site, the Shark Hotel, there's quite a large wall. For the night dive, we really stayed on top of the reef. That's where the action tends to be on night dives. On this dive, I'm using my Galaxy 2 Tovatech dive lights. I really love these dive lights. They have some built-in functionality that allow you to switch to fluorescent or red light, and I'll demonstrate that a little bit later in the video. With the fluorescent light, there are certain corals that really illuminate at night. It's very interesting, especially when you're away from the other divers' lights. You really get a sense of the fluorescent coral. Although I really do love these dive lights, they have not been without issue. I think I'll do a separate video and just do a review on these dive lights. I think there's some important information that I need to share. Here I'm switching to the fluorescent function on the Galaxy 2 Tobotech dive lights. It's really nice to have that functionality built right in. I have a separate fluorescent light that I would dive with occasionally, but it was another piece of gear to carry along. And not all reefs have a lot to look at, like this one didn't have particularly a lot to look at in terms of fluorescent. Here's an example of the red light, and I'm not exactly sure when you would use this, but I use a red light for sailing and other things. And the best functionality of the red light is that you can still see, but it doesn't necessarily blind or distract the animals that you want to look at. So I guess you could use the red light to find things you wanted to video and then switch to the other light. Here are those large jacks again. I don't know if you can occasionally hear them when they crunch their prey, but it's a very distinct sound when you're diving. You can hear it pretty clearly. Again, they're very opportunistic hunters using the light from my torch. Here's another look at the fluorescent light. I always bring my own tank marker when I'm going to do night dives. I have a blue tank marker that hangs on the back of my tank. It's a little glass cylinder that is illuminated in blue. That way my dive buddy can easily identify me underwater. In terms of lighting, I use my video lights, which I have two running at the same time right now, and then I'll carry a backup flashlight, and I really consider that my primary and secondary flashlight, but in this case they're video lights instead of a primary dive light. And there are two of them, so I feel pretty comfortable that really I have, for all intents and purposes, three lights with me, plus the tank marker. A lot of folks seem to congregate together on the night dives. I like to work the peripheral of that, so I'm just outside of the glow of most of their light. I like to experience the dark a little bit. It's easy for me to find my way. I can always see the other divers' lights. These larger liveaboard dive boats have lights underneath the boat as well, and typically on the night dive you don't go too far from the boat. Usually it's pretty close to directly beneath it, so pretty easy to find your way back and get your bearings, and you can easily just cover your light for a minute to look and see where the other divers and where the boat is. I usually check quite frequently to make sure I'm staying within range, but that's the way I like to do a night dive.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.